Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Mademoiselle Lina, and you can find me online at www.conjureknits.com. Today, we are here to do the weekly forecast for January 3rd through the 9th, and we are going to be using the Spirit Keepers Tarot, Revelation Edition by Benna Belwen. Before we get started, I would like to say thank you for viewing my video. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and click on the little bell so that you'll receive notifications of when I go live or upload new videos. I do try to stay pretty busy here on my channel. I do all 12 zodiac signs for the monthly tarot scopes. On Sundays, we have Conjure Crew with myself, Mambo Tanya, and the Black Bonnet Witch. On Mondays, I upload the weekly forecast. Every day, I do a card of the day reveal. On Wednesdays, we have the virtual book club. We are currently reading the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. It has been so much fun following Richard and Kaylin on their adventures, so you are definitely going to want to join us for that. I also pop on from time to time and do free readings, so make sure you get my notifications by clicking that little bell. Alright, I feel that I have rambled on long enough. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Card number 1. What spirit will be most present this week? And we have Two of Chalices, the joined one. The caduceus of Hermes features a lion's head, angel wings, and a rod upon which two serpents are intertwined. From the serpents' open mouths, holy water pours forth into two chalices. Where the waters intersect, a Merkaba star forms. Below the chalices, two hands join as one. The sentiment here is that of a safe harbor. The lion's head is colored green to signify vitriol, an acronym in alchemy for Visitat Interiora Terrae Rectificando Invenis Occultum Lapidum, meaning visit the interior of the earth, correct what you find to discover the hidden stone, or the philosopher's stone. In chemistry, oil of vitriol is sulfuric acid known in antiquity, documented as far back as 600 BC in Sumeria. It is a highly corrosive liquid that appears viscous and glassy. In medieval alchemy, vitriol dissolved all substances except for gold. Here, the green lion as vitriol designates the process of spiritual purification. Each chalice features a crescent moon, reminiscent of the sphinxes in the chariot. Between the chalices is a triangle, the elemental glyph for water, and inscribed within the triangle are the words Abyssus Abyssum Invocat, translated to the sea calls to the sea, or the deep calls unto the deep, from Psalms 42:7, which evokes one's deepest and darkest longing for God, to be one with the divine and to be divine. Albedo, the purification stage in the alchemical process of realizing the great work, is associated with the archetypal nature of the anima and animus coagulating. Along the bottom right corner is a ladybug about to take flight. Across many cultures, the ladybug is an omen of good fortune to come. In biblical symbolism, the ladybug is held in great esteem, seen as a divine messenger of God, who can bring messages to heaven for you. Ladybugs are also associated with the Norse goddess of love and fertility Freyja. Thus, one of their monikers is Freyja's hens. Later, Christian lore syncretized ladybug symbolism with Mother Mary, referencing ladybugs as the Lord's hens. Card number 2. What is in my highest interest to make this week's priority? And we have Key 21, New World Order. At the center is a pelican with wings outstretched who has pierced her own heart and is now feeding her young, a set of 3 nestlings at her feet, suckling upon 3 rivulets of their mother's blood. In medieval lore, it was believed that in times of need, a mother pelican would pierce her own breast with her beak and feed her young with blood. Thus, the pelican became an allegory for the Messiah and the self-sacrifice of Christ. In Renaissance alchemy, the pelican feeding her young symbolizes circulatio, an exalted alchemical state. When the pelican is shaped such that it is pecking at its own breast with its beak, feeding its trinity of young below, this is the circulating vessel, which is used to produce wine, a metaphor for the blood of Christ. This is alchemical transubstantiation. Behind the pelican is the double-headed Ouroboros, forming a double lemniscate not featured earlier in Key 1, the Magus, and Key 8, the Force. The Ouroboros here, backing the mother pelican, is symbolic of mastery. Above the pelican's head is the stone of foundation, a cutic stone believed to have been set in the foundations of the Temple of Solomon, formed in the shape of a perfect cube, placed in the temple by the Holy Spirit, so that it might be the cubic stone that supports the corners of the earth. At the four corners of the card, following their order around the astrological wheel, are emblems of the four fixed zodiac signs. From top right corner clockwise, Aquarius represented by the water bearer, depicted here as an androgynous, intersex human figure. Scorpio represented by the eagle, Leo represented by the lion, and Taurus represented by the bull. Halos encircle the four figures' heads, signifying their divine nature. The four fixed signs now reveal themselves to be Ezekiel's wheel, the Merkaba vision of a chariot throne pulled by four beings, one with the face of a man, one of a bull, another of a lion, and a fourth of an eagle, and corresponding with the four worlds of Kabbalah. The Merkaba vision is a metaphor for the four building blocks of life. In the foreground before the bull and the lion are bay laurel leaves signifying attained wisdom. The background is subdivided into four quadrants. Behind the water bearer of Aquarius is the hour of sunrise. Going clockwise, behind the eagle is the hour of high noon, and then the hour of sunset, and finally the hour of midnight. Beams of light shine from the top left corner, across the card image, and illuminating the right. The light source came from Key 14, the angel, and balances out the other side of Key 13, the Reaper. The Tarot Death card is the key of initiation, the figurative death of the lay person to be reborn as an enlightened mystic. Temperance, with the balancing of the polarities, is the attainment of heightened consciousness. Here in the Tarot World card, that heightened consciousness yields the work product, the great work. The allegory of the Messiah embedded into Key 21 appears to you now to remind you that you're suffering and the suffering of the world is your burden. Know yourself as a perpetrator, not a victim. Determine what it is you need to do, how you must act in a manner that shoulders responsibility so that you can confront not only your own suffering but the suffering of this world and rectify it. The New World Order is the rectification of past adversity. It is only when you accept hardship and affliction, truly accept it, that you can transform yourself physiologically, psychologically, and spiritually. This is a new world order to your inner temple. Bring peace to the warring states of mind within you, quiet the disquiet, end the internal conflicts, and bring harmony to all affairs of life. God is structure, and the New World Order is the structure of God. Key 21 is the order extracted from the potential that Key 1, the Magus, presented. Of all the cards in the tarot architecture, Key 21 is the most prophetic. Prophecy does not mean simply foretelling, it means a promise. It's an ideal future that signifies the negation of the empirical world. It contains at the same time the hope and assurance of a new heaven and a new earth. In prophetic vision, our symbolic power ventures beyond the limits of our finite existence, achieves a new and great act of integration. It is a decisive transformation of our ethical and spiritual life. An Essay on Man, 1944, Ernst Cassirer. Card number 3. What do I need to be mindful of and prepare for this week? And we have Two of Swords, the Blind Seer. A blindfolded seer sits on a stone bench, wielding two crossed swords over her heart. The twin swords are the ego and the self. Rubido, The actualization or consummation stage in the alchemical process of realizing the great work is associated with the archetypal nature of merging the ego with the self. Her crossed wrists form a double vajra. One sword points in the direction of Horus or Heru, the falcon-headed sky god. The ancient Egyptians believed in a bifurcated representation of the god Horus. He was Horus the Elder, a primordial god, and he was also Horus the Younger, the sky god and son of Isis. The image of the full moon in the eye of Providence denotes the polarity of the sun, and therefore its direct presence. A full moon is when the sun and moon are at direct opposites facing each other, which is why the full face of the moon is illuminated by the light of the sun. As a sky god, Horus sees all, and thus bears witness to every injustice that is committed. Call upon Horus to avenge wrongs that have been done to you. He is the Redeemer, with the power to bring earthly salvation to humans, and so in times of dire need, petition Horus to save you from jeopardy. The hieroglyphs on the base of the falcon statue read as follows: Nehe, meaning to invoke or entreat; Aku, meaning the light, radiance, luminescence, the god of light and splendor; Heru Abu, meaning Horus, great one of the hearts; Herumurti, meaning Horus of the two eyes, the sun and moon. The pillars and framing of this image serve to signify an open portal or gateway between worlds. The second sword points in the direction of the Lighthouse of Alexandria, built around 250 BC on the island of Pharos. The Lighthouse of Alexandria was dedicated to the savior gods, featuring reliefs and statues of the god Horus. Other records note that the lighthouse later featured statues of Triton, Poseidon, and Zeus. Standing as one of the tallest man-made structures of the ancient world, the lighthouse was constructed of pink granite, sandstone, and limestone. On either side are twin pillars reminiscent of the priestess and the chancellor's realms. The blind seer is also a threshold guardian for the priestess and the chancellor. She can also appear to prophesy an apocalyptic vision, the numerological link between key 20, apocalypse, and the twos. The pillars feature stylized, ornate roses, which was also featured on the hilt of the Ace of Swords. This is to represent the expression sub rosa, to convey that all that transpires here is to be kept under a cone of silence. The rose would be hung on the entranceway of rooms where an important council was being held, to convey that what would transpire during that meeting must be kept secret, and the decisions to be made therein would be kept in strict confidence. The blind seer's dress pattern is a homage to the Thoth Two of Swords. By combining the cards from this week's forecast, I was able to come up with the I Ching of Da Guo. This is about undertaking the great tipping point, excessive force. You are the sage who stands independent and fierce, without fear, renouncing the world you knew. It is a tipping point. You are reaching critical mass, embarking on a great endeavor. You may need to use excessive personal force. You are on a path of transformation. To facilitate that transformation, excessive force may be necessary, though by the laws of nature, there are consequences to the use of excessive force. It is a turning point in your life. A dried poplar yields one final blossom, its last great act before the poplar withers. All right, my lovelies. Let's take a look at the bigger picture here. Card number 1. What spirit will be most present this week? And we have Two of Chalices, the joined one. This is the spirit of love in all its forms, from agape love, romantic, to friendship. It is fidelity and devotion. The joined one speaks of an outer accord that also becomes an inner accord. Do not neglect the relationships you cherish. When you are a blessing to others, blessings will come your way. Be the blessing in other people's lives. Hold up agape love as the highest virtue and you will be fulfilled. Two kindred spirits come together, connected at the heart. There is a simpatico relationship here, two of like mind. The Two of Chalices can also come up in a reading to indicate a simpatico person, someone kind, beneficent, and deeply interested in the humanities and the arts and culture. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung, Modern Man in Search of a Soul, 1933. Card number 2. What is in my highest interest to make this week's priority? And we have Key 21, New World Order. This is the crown of the Magi. It is both the beginning and the end of the great work. It is oneness with the great calling and the final state of actualizing divine consciousness. Key 21 marks the world to come, heaven on earth, and the materializing of a new paradise. The spirit of the New World Order coming to you is an omen of good auspices. You'll reap in abundance from the hard work you've put in. Aspirations become your physical reality. The sacred 7 of traditional astrology correspond with 7 angels. Eliphaz Levi expresses these 7 angels as 1. The angel of light, ruling the sun. 2. The angel of aspirations and dreams, ruling the moon. 3. The destroying angel for Mars. 4. The angel of loves for Venus. 5. The angel of progress for Mercury. 6. The angel of power for Jupiter. And 7. The angel of the wilderness for Saturn. When Key 21, New World Order appears in your reading, the angel of the wilderness is omnipresent. This is the angel who reveals to you untrodden lands, that which is still unknown to others, but that soon you will come to know, the lands upon which you will build a glorious kingdom. This is the revelation of a new and uncultivated, uninhabited world, one in which you are going to be a pioneer. Through this Saturn connection in Key 21 of the Tarot, this key also connects you to Ninurta, Ningirsu, or Nirig, Babylonian god of the hunt, of healing, of law, and a god with power over demons, and who can grant a magus power over the demons. Card number 3. What do I need to be mindful of and prepare for this week? And we have 2 of Swords, the blind seer. In Egyptian mythos, eyes weren't just for seeing, but were sources of action and causation. Thus, one message coming through is to take pause. You need to think this one through. Don't act or make a decision in haste. 2 competing or oppositional ideas are in equipoise. One balances out the other. Waite notes that one divinatory meaning of this card is concord in a state of arms. Among the keys from the Suit of Swords, which are classically attributed to suffering, the 2 of Swords may be the most positive, though favorable readings of this card must be considered in a qualified manner. Wait. Nevertheless, there is a sentiment of tenderness present in your situation. There's courage and supportive friendships. The blind seer helps us navigate the stalemate between the ego and the self. The twin swords, or twin paths, form the cross that you bear. You have yet to attain the realization you need to make an intelligent, reasoned decision, so take the time to look inward. Arrive at an inner peace and restore a sense of calm before you proceed any further. However, where I described the twin swords in the blind seer as the ego and the self, Crowley describes them as silence and chastity, making reference to Harpocrates, the Greek god of silence, derived from the Egyptian icon of Horus as a child. The esoteric attribution for the 2 of Swords is peace, with the implication that it is one born from tension and halted conflict. The context of this peace is mutually assured destruction, and so you make peace with your opposition, because that's the only way to ensure your own security. The thesis of the 2 of Swords: when faced with an impossible choice between 2 ways, the best course to take is always the third. The pictorial reference to Sub Rosa here would also be construed as an omen to keep your decision-making to yourself. Don't disclose what's on your mind to others just yet. Keep it secret, or you might jeopardize the balance. I hope that this reading has helped you and will help lead you and guide you throughout the week. If you do feel that it has helped you and that it will help someone else, please feel free to share this video. Sharing is caring. And if you would like a more in-depth and personal reading, you can go to my website at www.conjureknits.com and click on the link at the top of the page that says Book a Reading. I hope you all have a very beautiful and amazing week. Love you bunches. Shalom.